What's going on, y'all? What's going on, y'all? It is your boy Skywalker the Jedi back at y'all with another one. Much love to all you guys. Much love to Seal Nation, the Cool Table family, the Mikey Verse forever, the Syndicate Network. Y'all could be anywhere else in the world right now, but you're here with me, rocking out, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys a whole lot, and we here to talk some Star Wars. Had a bit of a heavy day today. Had a lot of stuff to take care of, and you know, our good friend, community member, family member, mentor, brother, Scooper Supreme, everything. He was there's so much, there's so many people. Our good friend Mikey Sutton was laid to rest today. I watched the live stream on that earlier, and I wanted to kind of make sure that you guys know that the link is pinned in the chat. It is still not too late to go on over there and donate to the family throughout this trying time. And that link is pinned to the chat. And, I'm pretty sure that they could use some love and encouragement. It was a rough day, but we all got through it. So much love to all you guys that checked that out and I was there supporting as well. Much love to all you guys. Right. Thank you guys for being here. But let's talk some Star Wars, right? We got Bad Dan. I know Bad Dan about to trip out because I'm about to talk about some Star Wars. So let's get it, right? Let's get on a brighter note. Check out these super chats real quick from the homies. Bad Dan in the building early saying, is Sky doing a whole stream about Star Wars? See, I already knew. I knew you was gonna be up to it, Bad Dan. I already knew. Yes, I am. I'm about to talk about Ahsoka and give you guys my thoughts on it on the mid-season. It is 8 episodes. Episode 4 came out earlier this week, and I am here to talk about it. So yes, we definitely talking some Star Wars today, Bad Dan, and I know that's gonna make you smile, bro. And you making me smile by supporting the platform. So let me go ahead and hit you with this one real quick, and then we'll be right back.
I'm not broken. And I'm not alone.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we got the homie Bishop in the super chat with the $2 saying, "Hey Sky, how you doing?" Yeah, as I said earlier, it was a bit of a rough day, but we here now, and I'm just ready to bring this conversation to you guys, and hopefully we can have a little bit of fun, and we try to pick up some spirits, So let me hit you off with this one real quick. Thank you, bro. Real talk. Hey, Sin Havoc said that the Griff rules apply here too, man. Hey, just shouts out to all you guys. Mama Bear said Sky even pulled out a Star Wars shirt. Yeah. We in here. We about to talk about some Ahsoka, right? Oh man, we got the homie Mr. J in the chat with the $5 saying, Mikey verse for life. Yo, absolutely, absolutely. I was thinking earlier, as I was watching the stream, I just feel so lucky, man, to be able to have been part of this community and thing that this man cultivated because that along with like Seal Nation and everything, obviously those two guys being the pillars in like the origin of like everything that we do today, right? I just never would have thought, right, that when I first started watching Steel's channel that we'd be where we are right now, right? Just as a community, right? Like there's no way that I could have foreseen the things that was gonna come and the heights that this community would be able to reach. And that was due in no small part to the efforts of those two gentlemen. And so, just being able to be a part of something like that, even like before the content creation stuff, um, it was just really special. So, I'm glad to have been there in the beginning, and we're going to continue to push this thing on into the future. So, yeah, you know, it's just a bit of a rough patch right now, but we're gonna get a little bit better each day, and we're gonna continue pressing forward and to you know try to reach the heights that was expected of us to reach. So much love, Mr. J. Thanks for the super chat, bro. Much appreciation, and let me give you this one right here. All right. Much love, much love, much love. Uh, Mama Bear said, if you seek his monument, look around you. Indeed. Indeed. All right. 100%. Um, but let's get to the show. Let's see if we can turn up and have a little bit of fun here today. As you guys know, we still on the road to 1K, trying to hit 1,000 before the end of 2023. And we're just gonna keep striving for that goal. So make sure that you guys are liking the content, sharing it out, subscribing, all that good stuff, right? Uh, these hashtags, yo, oh my god! And I saw something earlier. If it had not been for the fact that I was going to talk about Ahsoka tonight, I almost called an audible. I almost called an audible and was like, yo, I'm gonna just change the show and I'm gonna talk about this. But I have decided that I will talk about this tomorrow. Oh my God, we about to have a conversation about these hashtags tomorrow. Oh my goodness. We about to have a conversation about these hashtags tomorrow that I think a lot of people is not going to want to have. They're not going to want to have this conversation. They're not going to want me talking about this. I'm pretty sure it's going to be people trying to interrupt in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Trying to come in here and talk dumb because we got something to talk about tomorrow. We got something to discuss tomorrow. So be tuned and do not miss this stream tomorrow night because because I'm cooking. I'm cooking. I'm cooking. I'm cooking. Boy, I tell you. Boy. They didn't believe, y'all. Anyway, if you use these hashtags, make sure that you're using the rules of engagement, right? Which are as follows. We ask that you be positive. We're engaging with the current home of Netflix. With the current home of Zack Snyder, which is Netflix, right? Number two, do not mix the hashtags with others as we are trying to keep the messaging as focused and effective as possible. Number three, do not tag, mention, reply to, quote, tweet, or anything like that anybody over at WBD, which is including but not limited to James Gunn, right? Make sure that you guys are subscribed to ZSJL to Netflix on YouTube and also following ZSJL to Netflix on Twitter, right? Also, like I said before, make sure that you guys, I have the link pinned in the chat. Make sure that you guys head on over to the Mikey Sutton family GoFundMe if you guys haven't already, and we're gonna rock out, yo. We're gonna support the family and the community members, and we all gonna get through this together. And we're gonna get to it. So let's tap in with the sponsors real quick, and then we'll be back to talk about some Ahsoka. Let's get it.
Steppenwolf, have you begun the conquest?
Man. Now, before I get into because I'm gonna answer the question, is Star Wars back at the end of the episode, right? Pretty much I'm gonna give you guys some opening thoughts, and I'm gonna break down how I feel about a few of the characters, and we're just gonna get to it that way, right? But before I do that, I want to kind of revisit where I've been with Star Wars recently, right? Um, so that you guys can know what my mindset is going into this series, rather, right? Um, Growing up, yo, I used to love Star Wars. Like Star Wars was like some of my earliest, like, just probably maybe the thing that might have brought me to like love movies and stuff like as a child, right? Just like growing up and having those VHS tapes like in my house and having them on repeat and feeling like I was Luke Skywalker, right? And just watching them with my dad and my brothers and just man, it was just like it was so dope, right? I mean, makeshift lightsabers all throughout my childhood, right? Y'all know every Christmas when you get the Christmas wrapping sheet paper and it's down to the roll and you're running around and you're having lightsaber fights, just woo, 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 like all that stuff, right? Love Star Wars growing up. I was a bit on the younger side when the prequels came out, right? So I thought they were cool. I mean, I didn't like hell is his name? I'm about to blank on his name. I don't even. Oh my god, it's been so long. I can't even remember his name. Jar Jar Binks, right? I didn't like the Jar Jar Binks character, but for the most part, um, you know, like I liked those movies. I felt like they got better and better, right? Because I was a bit on the younger side. Those were the Star Wars movies that I got to see like in theaters, right? I'll never forget around the time of that the Phantom Menace came out. They had these steak fajita tacos over at Taco Bell. It's probably like the best tacos they've ever had. But I just remember always trying to go to Taco Bell, trying to get some of those tacos, and they'd have like the little pod racer uh, stuff on the bag and everything. It was just like it was just a whole thing, right? So yeah, I used to love Star Wars growing up, like unapologetically, right? Bat Dan said, so Sky, have you seen any of Clone Wars or Rebels? I'm about to get to that in 1 second when I start talking about Ahsoka, right? So, yeah, like I love Star Wars growing up, and ever since the prequels came out, I was like super hyped for more Star Wars films, and I was waiting on pins and needles and all that stuff. So when they announced that they were doing episode 7 and everything with JJ Abrams, and I was seeing the cast and the marketing and everything, I was totally on board. I was totally on board, right? I was totally on board. And there was just a point where uh I was like just so ready for Star Wars, and going into that film, I was so hyped. And I didn't mind a lot of things that people didn't like about that film. There was a lot of people that said that they felt like it was too close to episode 4, but I always understood why they kind of went that route, right? It was re-establishing Star Wars after a long time for a whole new generation of fans. They were trying to tap into that nostalgic fan base, and also with the prequels being kind of divisive, right? So to speak, um, they were trying to go back to, what worked beforehand and kind of create almost like homage to those early films, right? So I liked episode 7. A lot of people were mad about the Han Solo thing, but I already knew that Harrison Ford had been begging to be killed off as Han Solo forever, right? So I wasn't shocked by that, and I didn't blame J.J. Abrams for that. I'm like, dude, that might have been the only way he'd agreed to come back, right? Uh, and so with that being said, uh, I didn't mind episode 7 at all. I actually really enjoyed episode 7. I thought it was a dope entry, and I was excited about the things that they had set up, going forward, right? And was on board. They were, uh, they were leaving a lot of questions unanswered. And I was like, okay, we're going to see how this plays out. Now, with me saying that I was hyped going into episode 7, right? When it ended the way that it did, right? Like with the shot of Luke Skywalker, and you just, like having so many questions and not knowing anything. Um, like with that happening at the end of episode 7, oh, my level of excitement for episode 8 was off the charts. Off the charts, yo. I was so hyped going into episode 8. Because as I said before, I loved episode 7, and I was so excited about like the like because us as Star Wars fans, especially, with me being a Star Wars fan since I was a little kid, like we've always wondered like what Luke Skywalker was up to, right? We've always wondered about like what new powers was he gonna have, right? Like how powerful will Luke Skywalker be, like this much later in his life, right? We just had all these questions surrounding Luke Skywalker, and you know uh, as you guys know, with episode 8, y'all know that the Luke Skywalker character was probably like the most mishandled character, maybe in movie history. When it comes to like fan expectations, I don't know how you get much more mismanaged than Luke Skywalker in episode 8, right? And it seemed as if that movie was put out purposefully to try to like say F you to the older fans and say, yo, we're going to embrace this new generation, right? Which I didn't have a problem with them embracing the new generation, but I did feel like we should have gotten that full trilogy with these, with, Han, Luke, and Leia. And then we wrap up their stories throughout this trilogy. And then after that, we could all move on, right? I'm starting to feel like I'm talking about some other franchise, right? It's like, yo, just complete the trilogy. Oh my God, this is hilarious. Just complete the trilogy with the characters that we know and love, right? And then you can, soft reboot later down the line and it'll all be cool. Right. But, they chose to go that different route, and they chose to pretty much, alienate a huge section of the fan base. Right. Episode 8, like, soured my taste so much for Star Wars that it's like everything surrounding it, I just didn't really want to rock with at that point. Right. I just didn't really want to rock with it. And so, um, you know, uh episode 8 killed my like it almost killed my love for Star Wars, like period. Cause it's different if you like put out a movie and I think it's bad, right? But I feel like, I can kind of see what you're trying to do, right? But you just may not have executed in a way that I thought was dope, right? Like I can totally understand that. But watching episode 8, that was an entirely different experience. That was a movie that felt like it was being disrespectful to me, right? Like the movie just kept slapping me across the face and saying, "You ain't gonna do nothing, right? You ain't gonna walk out. You just gonna sit here and take it. You're gonna sit here and just watch the rest of this happen, right? Like you ain't gonna walk out, right? Bow. You know what I'm saying? Luke, green milk, bow, right? You know what I'm saying? Luke Skywalker dying from forced exhaustion, bow, right? You know what I'm saying? The whole Finn and Rose side plot that went nowhere. Bow, right? Lieutenant Haldo, bow, right? Or Captain, whatever her name was. I don't know, man. It was just like just backhand after backhand after backhand, and I was just like, yo, this is crazy, and I kept feeling like it was gonna get better, and it didn't, right? Like, oh, you thought the Snoke was gonna be cool and have a cool backstory? Nah, bro, hold my beer. You know what I'm saying? Snoke wasn't in charge. We just gonna dismiss him unceremoniously, right? It's just like, yo, that movie was so insane on so many levels, and it just felt disrespectful. So when that film kind of happened, to me, what that said is that, yo, you guys don't want my dollars anymore, right? Like you're clearly trying to go after a new fan base, and you're telling me that you don't want my dollars. I mean, it was even kind of sprinkled out through the entire movie, right? I mean, from the very beginning, right? Ray hands Luke this lightsaber that means in the world to him, or it should mean the world to him. Has so much history in this lightsaber. We all know the history of this lightsaber. And what does he do? He chucks it over his shoulder, right? Like, I don't care. Couldn't care less, right? All these lines, hey, let the past die. Kill it if you must, right? They kept saying it. They kept like telling us over and over again, like, hey, we don't want your dollars. So, not to get caught up on the Last Jedi rant, because y'all know I can, man. But, pretty much after that, I was off of Star Wars. I had to be convinced to even give The Mandalorian a try. I don't think I started watching The Mandalorian until like it was either towards the end of the first season, or it might have even been after the first season was even over. Right? I couldn't stand it. Right? Could not stand it. Or no, I liked The Mandalorian when I watched it, but I wasn't giving anything Star Wars a chance up to that point. Right? So pretty much I didn't blame JJ for episode 9, right? Honestly, I feel like with what Ryan Johnson did with episode 8, I didn't blame them for. I kind of felt like they were trying to course correct what happened in the last movie, so that's kind of what happened with episode 9, in my opinion, right? Because I saw where JJ was going with episode 7, and I have no doubt that that's not where he wanted to end up in episode 9. Because matter of fact, him and Colin Trevorrow even kind of spoke on it and said that, yeah, like him and JJ was kind of in sync about where the story was going to go. It was like Ryan was kind of like that middle child that, just wanted to do his own thing. Right. But, yeah, so the only things that was really dope in Star Wars to me were some of the shows, right? I thought that The Mandalorian first 2 seasons were fire. I liked the Andor show as well. I didn't watch The Bad Batch just because like it was like a time thing. And my homie had just told me to watch the other one with the shorts, where I'm gonna get on that soon. But Yo, Obi-Wan was dope. I liked that show. I felt like that took a turn for the better as that series went on, right? So a lot of the series have been where I've been, kind of looking to get my Star Wars fix. And we're going to talk about Ahsoka right now, right? Because Ahsoka, hold up, Sin Havoc said, oh wait, Ryan Johnson got screwed. He said, blame Kathleen Kennedy. Hey, I might have to do a deep dive, right? Because man, that probably was right, man. Because that wouldn't make any sense, right? Why would JJ and Colin Trevorrow be so in sync about what was going to happen, and then Ryan Johnson just all of a sudden is just like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. You're right. It probably was Kathleen Kennedy. It probably was. It probably was. Oh my god. Because that would make no sense, right? That would make no sense if like the guy at the beginning and the end of the story is totally in sync, and the one in the middle is just like, I look, I'm not on nothing that y'all talking about. Mm, mm. Might have to do a deep dive, but you know, so yeah, as I was saying, it's been the shows that have been giving me a lot of my Star Wars kind of fix lately, and so with Ahsoka, there's been a lot of hype surrounding this show, right? Dave Filoni pretty much been talking it up, saying, "Yo, this pretty much like Rebels season 5, right?" Which I'm gonna get into because I watched some Rebels. I didn't finish it, y'all. Like I didn't see all of it. That was at that like that show and the Clone Wars kind of came out at a time in my life where I was just like doing a bunch of stuff, and I didn't have time to like go through both of those series, but I did have a good sense of like a lot of the characters, and I've obviously found out a lot that has happened in those series. But I wasn't like super big into Rebels or the Clone Wars, right? So going into this show, I feel like this show could have been. I mean, and I can see how in the beginning it may be like a little bit like alienating to certain people that might not have like known anything about Rebels, right? I could kind of see that, but I do think that they give you that they do a good job of kind of, you know, setting up who these characters are, giving you like little nods to their backstory, be it visually or, throughout the dialogue. But I've been enjoying this show. I've been enjoying this show quite a bit, and we're gonna get into it because I think it's been getting better and better every single episode. Right, I think it's been getting better every single episode, and it kind of culminated in this last episode, in which I feel like this is like this last episode, episode 4, Fallen Jedi of Ahsoka was probably one of the best episodes out of any of the Star Wars live action shows that has come out recently. That was a really, really dope episode. And that's what prompted this stream because I literally found myself like at the edge of my seat. It was like classic Star Wars almost in just so many ways, right? From the lightsaber battles, not saying that they were better, but because they weren't, but just like that tension, the level of tension that this show has kind of been ramping up to lately. The fact that we have pretty much half the season left, and we don't know anything that's about to happen. out of all of the trailer footage, I think we've pretty much seen everything outside of the shot of Thrawn coming back. Right? I think we've pretty much seen everything else that's been in the trailers, and we have a half a season left. It's like uh this show is doing a great job of giving you that feel of like old school Star Wars, man. And Filoni, he didn't direct this last episode, but he is like the showrunner, I believe, and like the main director for this episode. I mean, for this series. This guy is putting in mad work, yo. It's been his projects that he's kind of been having a big hand in that have been like some of the best things released lately for Star Wars. And you know, according to one of Mikey's scoops, right, this dude's gonna be the next head of Star Wars. And so if that doesn't or when that ends up happening, I think it's gonna be a very interesting time. I think it's going to be a very interesting time, right? But let's get into some of these characters, right? Ahsoka Tano, Rosario Dawson, she is killing it in this show, yo. She's absolutely killing it. Uh, I think that this very easily could have taken away from like her prestige as the character. This show could have easily kind of gone in the opposite way and had a lot of people that were fans of her interpretation kind of like not be fans anymore, right? Because if this didn't turn out, y'all know how the fandom gets, right? They swear that the Zack Snyder fan base is crazy. Ain't got nothing on the fandom in it, so ain't got nothing, right? But yeah, like it could have very easily kind of gone the other way and had a lot of people kind of feeling negatively about her and the character in general. Um, you know, it's dope, yo. It's super dope. And Bad Dan says Ahsoka is Filoni's baby. He created her. Yes, he did. And you could tell that love and attention to detail has been there throughout this series, right? Most definitely. Sock said also, I need to say this: the Ahsoka show isn't woke. People that call this woke don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's like super woke or anything. Um, yeah, I think it might have been like one moment I kind of was like, oh my God. But yeah, it was just one thing. If I remember correctly, I think it's like one of like the first episodes. But other than that, nah, it's been dope. And Josh said, I totally agree, Sky. Ahsoka episode 4 was classic Star Wars that we all been missing. Absolutely. Man, and I'm gonna get to some of these character breakdowns, Joe, but my boy Balin Skull, yo. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Balin Skull. But look, let's talk about Ahsoka right now because I think that her arc has been dope. She started off, because with her history of kind of like walking away from Anakin Skywalker and then walking away from Sabine Wren. Uh, there's been like uh this arc of her like having to show patience and things like that, right? And to try things that she wouldn't normally try. Say, for instance, when they were in when they were in her ship and Sabine was shooting out of the gunner seat, and at first when she was trying to coach her, she was kind of being hard on her and just not really giving Sabine like what she might have needed in that moment, and then you can see her kind of take a second, calm herself, and then kind of think like, "Yo, let me try something different." And then she tries something different, and then Sabine responds well to it, and then she ends up taking out a few of those ships. And so, yeah, it's just like little moments like that. You're seeing her try to train Sabine, and you're seeing her in that mentor role has been super dope as well. And Rosario Dawson's been killing it, Joe. She is killing it in this role. I absolutely love what I'm seeing from her. And with the episode kind of ending off where it did with that huge cliffhanger, right? You know, with us seeing it might be a force ghost or something else, right? Entirely, of Anakin Skywalker. Um, you know, we're probably going to get some conversations between those two about, her walking away from him, and her kind of figuring out whether or not he really could have been saved, right? Because we had Bad Dan in here saying that Ahsoka walked out on him, and that they could have saved him. What if she about to find out that there was no saving him, which is what I believe, right? But yo, it's crazy. We got Bad Dan saying fandom minutes are hating this series because truth is they are fake Star Wars fans. They probably are. It's probably the same thing that's going on with a lot of these quote unquote Zack Snyder fans, because they just advocating for things that are dangerous and damaging to the fandom over things that are effective and going somewhere and coming to fruition. So it's just very weird stuff. Mama Bear said thereby the book fans wanted it to stick to the EU lore. We see the same thing with DC. You know what's crazy though, Mama Bear, is that they're even bringing in so much of the EU right now. Like, so I don't even like. I still don't get it, right? Like they want to say, "Oh, well, we want the EU," and then they're bringing in all these people and things from the EU, and people are still mad, right? Like Grand Admiral Thrawn was an EU character, right? They're gonna do an Heir to the Empire movie. That was a book that was in the EU. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they're still upset, right? Yeah. Sock said Anakin was saved by his son Luke in episode 6. When Anakin saw the Emperor killing his son, when Anakin threw the Emperor over that shaft, he redeemed himself. See, even Socks got it. Bad Dan over here trying to act like Obi-Wan could have saved him. Come on, yo. But, the Ahsoka character has been super dope in this series. I am digging the way she has been using her lightsabers. There's been a few callbacks to Rebels because she's used them in the same manner in the show. But the choreography, even like just from her standpoint, like on her fight with Valen Skull, uh, it was on point, and it's just dope to see Star Wars kind of in the hands of people that know the lore, and they know the stories that they want to tell in like a focused and effective way. And I just think that and this is a testament that Star Wars isn't dead. Like, it's not. They just gotta get back on track, right? And this show has definitely been doing that in a major way. But moving on from Ahsoka, I want to get to Sabine, right? Because this is also another character who coming into this show. And it's funny because she actually looks just like somebody that I know in real life. And so it's been kind of funny because I be looking at her and I be picturing my friend, and I'm just like, yeah, that's kind of wild, right? Um, look at this. Bad Dan just won't let it go. Just won't let it go. Oh my God, no. Obi-Wan was not, no. Mm-mm. That man was gonna turn. That man was gonna turn. But yeah, Sabine, her character's been super dope. Her arc as well. And it seems like what they're doing with her is that they're showing that, you don't have to be a Jedi to kind of learn how to use the Force per se. And I do believe that she's going to end up having to kind of lean more on her Mandalorian skills while still embracing her Force use. And that just kind of being like secondary to what she uses, like her main blasters and things like that, like she was using against Shin Hati in this last episode, rather than the lightsaber that she picked up the first time that she tried to fight her. She fared much better this time. And you could see that she almost might have had the upper hand if she'd just been able to use the force like a little bit more. If she would have had a little bit more kind of control over her power, you see her kind of force push Shin like very lightly, and she kind of feels it, and she's like, "Wait, oh man, like, but you're weak, you know." Uh, you know, it's just a situation where I think that uh her arc and where she's been going has been dope. They totally took her in like a different direction, and I thought that she was going to be going down because she gave the star map over to Balin, right? Like she just handed it over, right? He kind of got in her head, brought up how she had lost her whole family and how Ezra was all of the family that she had left, right? And then, yeah, he's like, yo, this is the only way to get him back, right? But I think that going forward in this series, she's going to play a big part, obviously. I honestly think that plus with her being with them on the ship, it actually gives us a character to follow that we're invested in. Getting to see these things like possibly having Ezra and Thrawn come back, right? Because who man, they may come back in the next episode. We don't know. We have no idea. Yo, you guys are funny. Bishop says, "Excuse me, guys, but are all the movies canon?" And then Nightwing says, "The first six are canon." Y'all are crazy, man. Oh man, y'all are tripping. Why y'all saying that all nine movies ain't canon, y'all? Y'all wrong, yo. Saint Avic says the Eye of Sion. Yo, that hyperspace scene, the hyperspace. Oh my god, that was dope. That was dope. But look, back to Sabine. I'm actually very interested to see where her character is going to go next. now that she's kind of made this turn and sided with the bad guys, you know, somewhat. But we're gonna see where this kind of goes from here. I think that they may have a few more surprises up their sleeves. St. Havoc says that Thrawn is supposed to show up next week. Oh my goodness. And then I saw somebody earlier saying that it might be in some movie theaters. Yep. I'm going to check. And y'all know if it's by me, I'm going. Right. He said, yeah, Rogue One is canon too. All right. Yeah. But moving on from Sabine, I think that yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see where she goes from here. Now that she's kind of made this choice, Shin Hati, yo, this chick right here, yo, she's been like one of the dopest things about this series to me. She just looks like she just is ready for evil doing. You know what I'm saying? Like she's with this shit like completely. She's down for whatever, as long as it involves hurting somebody. Right? Shin Hati has been super dope. Seeing her kind of lock in with Sabine has been interesting too, because it's like the battle of the Padawans, right? It's like the battle of the Padawans, right? Where you have the two apprentices or apprentici. I'm not sure what the plural term is, but you have them kind of duking it out. And as Sabine gets more powerful and gets stronger in her fighting, Shin has kind of like upped her anger level, right? Uh, Sock said her eyes are pure Sith. Yeah, yo, she has those eyes, right, where it's like she just looks like she's staring straight through you. Even in this picture, right? Like I wouldn't want to be on the other side of what she's looking at. Like I would not want her to be looking at me like that, because she look like she coming with all the smoke, right? She's been super dope in this show, and I think that it's going to be very interesting how they kind of wrap up her arc, right, and what's gonna come of her character, right? Um, I don't know, but I'm definitely here for it. Uh, I've been enjoying the little skirmishes with her and Sabine, and I just can't wait to see them mix it up one more time. You know it's coming. You know it's coming, right? They fought uh early in the series. They just fought again in the middle episode, and you probably know that they're gonna have a fight at the end. Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait to see where this is going, and I'm super excited, right? But that moves me on to Balin Skull, yo. This dude. Rest in peace to Ray Stevenson, right? This has been one of my favorite portrayals of a Star Wars character that I'd say in like recent history for me. This dude right here, he just has such presence, man. Such presence. Uh, he plays the role just with such like a physicality, right? But also with like a wisdom and like a battle hardened kind of like just wisdom almost, right? Like I think when she's like, oh, do I hear worry in your voice or something like that? And he was like, no, just experience, right? It's just, man, Ray Stevenson is such a phenomenal actor. He was also in a movie that I really loved back in the day, Punisher, Warzone. I think that's the name of it, right? That Punisher movie that was super dope. But yo, this might, like, I did not know that I was gonna like have him in Star Wars all this time later, and also to see him playing like such a dope role, right? When he was up there talking to Ahsoka about her past and all that, and just like he's like taking his robe and his cloak off, and like just the way in which the whole scene is just played out, and the choreography for his lightsaber duel was incredible. You could just feel like I was watching this, and as he's like having his monologue and as he's talking to her, I'm literally feeling myself like get closer to the edge of my seat, right? Like I'm leaning forward, right? Uh, I'm I'm leaning forward, right? I'm really digging these. He almost feels like a old school knight, like from like from back in the Crusades or something. Like he just really has this presence, and the way in which he fights with his lightsaber just really showcases just a lot of power, and you really feel like she may not make it through that lightsaber duel, right? Which is something that that to his knowledge she didn't, right? He thinks that she's gone, right? She gets pulled into the world between worlds, right? And he's thinking that that he's pretty much accomplished his goal of like taking her out. Uh, yeah, that lightsaber duel between Ahsoka and him was just incredible. Like that was like top tier stuff in terms of like tension, and I really enjoyed the choreography. There were several moves throughout that just had me like, oh man, like he had one where he kind of like uh where he like put the lightsaber behind, because what he does is he makes movements before you make your move, right? And like he like put the lightsaber like behind his head, and then she like came and tried to hit him, and I was like, oh my god, man, like this dude is dope. Like he just it seems like some old school knight who's just fought in like 1,000 battles, right? And he just doesn't really want to do what he has to do, but he has to do it nonetheless. That's almost how his character kind of comes off. So I am loving what I'm seeing with this portrayal. I am so excited to see where this character kind of ends up at. I'm loving what I am seeing uh, with this series and with some of these characters, right? And that leads me into the last character that we're gonna discuss tonight is this guy, yo, Grand Admiral Thrawn, right? Grand Admiral Thrawn. We are gonna discuss him because obviously Ezra is like a big presence in this show, but Thrawn is like the looming shadow, right? Thrawn is like the looming shadow that has been cast over this entire series. Right. Ahsoka is totally dead set out to kind of make sure that he doesn't come back. Right. She even has a talk with Sabine earlier in the episode where she's speaking about, maybe that they should destroy the map, because if they can't get there, then nobody should, and it just shows the links in that which she is willing to go through to make sure that this guy uh cannot return, because she knows, right? She absolutely knows what's going to happen if he comes back. She knows the threat that he presents. And, you know, the fact that she would leave Ezra Bridger like stranded, right? That she was really willing to leave him stranded because she knows the threat that Thrawn poses. I think it speaks volumes to what this character is gonna like. I think that this portrayal of Thrawn is probably like one of the most anticipated screen like live action debuts probably in quite some time, right? Everybody is looking forward to seeing this guy. He seems to be posing the ultimate threat, and his shadow has just been looming so large over this entire series that it just makes you want to see him so badly, but it's almost like on the other hand, you don't want to see him, right? I really want him to get here quickly, but then I don't, because it's like, what's going to happen to our heroes, right? Like, who's not going to make it, right? Bad Dan said, I'm so glad they're using the voice actors from Rebels for Thrawn. Yeah, yeah, it's dope, right? Because you kind of have that continuity going, and also, you know, Thrawn has such a unique voice, right? And you can tell that he's probably like lived with this character for so long, um, you know, that he's probably been already thinking about what his mannerisms were going to be and all that. So being able to have that continuity from Rebels is going to be super dope. And I just think that as long as the writing is super dope, which I have no doubt that it's going to be, I think that you know, this guy can actually pose a pretty big risk, pretty big threat to the galaxy. And you know, we're gonna get that Heir to the Empire movie, so they might as well start setting it up now. Which means that Thrawn is probably gonna come out on top, right? What happens if Thrawn comes out on top at the end of this series, guys? That's a question that we're gonna all have to possibly deal with, right? But yeah, I've really been enjoying this show. And I'm gonna start wrapping up now by answering the question: is Star Wars back? Right? Because I've been seeing that over the internet for quite some time. You know, like, is Star Wars back? Is Star Wars back? And it seems like after every like dope thing that we have happen, that question kind of gets asked once again. Like, well, maybe it's back now. Um, I will say this: if this show keeps going the route that it is going, because like I said earlier, Mandalorian season 3 was a bit of a step backwards. Book of Boba Fett was cool, you know, but it was kind of like the Mandalorian season 2.5 or whatever, right? But you know, they have a chance with this series if they end it on a high note, uh, just with the fans feeling good. Not saying that it has to end on a positive note, right? But if they ended on a high note with like the fan anticipation still being there and that fan fervor still being there, you know, they have a real opportunity to do something different in leading up to this Heir to the Empire movie, right? They can really garner a lot of good faith moving into that film, because the series have been what's been keeping Star Wars name afloat these past couple years, right? So why not try to capitalize on that, and then uh, have all these projects kind of lead up to this movie, right? And then after you have that done, you can kind of move on into other directions if you so choose, right? Um, yeah, I just think that what this has proven is that Star Wars can be back if it is in the hands of people that know what they're doing. You cannot try to force you you cannot try to force things into Star Wars, right? Like that don't have anything to do with Star Wars, right? You can't do that. You can't take something as beloved and as big as these properties and try to inject them with things that you're just trying to get through to the audience, right? You have to start out with looking to tell a good story that is, even if it's not 100% something that was in the EU or something like that, right? It has to be respectful to the fan base, right? Uh, you have to be respectful to the fan base. You have to uh, you have to make these things kind of appealing to your core audience, right? And that was another time where you had a studio that really went counter to what their core audience wanted, and I think that they paid a heavy price for it in terms of the diluting of the Star Wars brand, right? And now we're in a space where they've been kind of building up some more of that goodwill, and they really have an opportunity to cash in on it if they can kind of stick the landing with some of these series. Ahsoka being one of them. But yeah, this they have to stick the landing with this show, and I think that this is probably going to set up the Heir to the Empire movie in a big, big way. And I'm just excited to see where it all goes. Right. So is Star Wars back? The answer is if it's with great people that can respect what's happening and respect the fan base and respect the consumers, then yes. But if it's going to be people trying to inject their own thoughts and stuff into Star Wars and try to turn Star Wars into something else, then they're gonna keep getting the results that they were getting before some of these shows started to kind of bring back some of that goodwill from the fandom, right? So y'all put y'all last questions and comments down in the chat. I'm about to get caught up with what y'all saying, and then we about to get on out of here, right? Nightwing said they did a great job with Thrawn. Can't wait to see him in the show. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to his debut as well. I think it's going to be pretty dope, and I just can't wait to hear uh, some of that Thrawn dialogue, because this dude got some of the best dialogue in Star Wars, like 100%. I can just listen to Grand Admiral Thrawn quotes for like hours and just listen to him talk. Right? Yeah, for real. So I want to see Thrawn fight. Yeah, Thrawn is a genius. See, is Star Wars back? Probably not. Disney's going broke, apparently. Hey, we'll see. Man. Sock said Mikey had said all of the Star Wars shows are leading up to the Heir to the Empire movie. Yeah, that's. I mean, how many times have they name dropped Heir to the Empire? They literally been name dropping it like left and right, right? Like Ahsoka can't stop saying it. She said it what, like 3 times now. Mm, she said, "Getting caught up. You're gonna be here for a while." Hey, nah. Bad Dan is a Sith. So Thrawn is the only one who could resurrect the Empire. Look, you see how he out here sounding like a Sith right now? Only a Sith deals in absolutes, Bad Dan. Right, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to these projects. The movie, mainly this show, because if this show can end on, like that feeling I had watching episode 4, it had been a while since I was like literally like on the edge of my seat. It had been a while. So I'm glad. I'm glad that they're having success with the first half of this season. But we about to get on out of here, yo. Qatar said, "Is the J.J. Abrams movies non-canon?" They are canon. I don't know. They in here tricking y'all, man. The J.J. Abrams movies. We can't just say that they're not canon, guys. Like we in here sounding like people saying that the Snyder cut just don't exist. Like, yes, the J.J. Abrams movies and the Ryan Johnson abomination are all canon. He said, "Good. The Sith are the good guys." Oh my God, man, come on, bro. Right. Anyway, look, I'm about to get on out of here, yo. Look, y'all remember, smash that like button. Hit the Mikey Sutton family GoFundMe. The comment is pinned in the chat. Right now, hit that link. You know what I'm saying? Much love to all you guys. We gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get at y'all next time, and make sure y'all tune in, yo. Tomorrow's gonna be a dope conversation. It really is, and I'm so happy to be having this conversation because it's awesome, and we're all gonna have it together. And we're gonna start minding this stuff out. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm gonna get at y'all later. Peace.